Hi there, Virgo. Welcome to your July 2023 General Tarot reading. It's Rena here. Got the Hermit. That's your card. Somebody on YouTube was telling me about the 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 Virgo being the Hermit. Oh my gosh, Major Arcana much? There you go. And that is your opposite sign, Pisces connection. I think that card is ruled by Neptune. Okay, let's see what is happening with these cards here. Okay, so two of the cards, we have the current and the past position, are both spiritual kind of cards. The Hermit, for the theme of this time frame, is about contemplation. And actually, I think of the 12th house in Pisces. I think of that as the Hermit house. And you see this person is alone, obviously, soul searching. And obviously, that's something that everyone can do, but there might be a specific reason why you're doing it. I always look to the past position to maybe give some clarification. And how I would interpret this is that it might not be a specific problem that you're having, but simply that you are experiencing a spiritual awakening. I feel that we don't have just one. There might be a dramatic spiritual awakening for some people that I've heard of well-known teachers talk about those kinds of experiences for them. Usually when they have been in a crisis and then they have a breakthrough like that. So it might not be that dramatic, but it might still be an upgrade, if you will. And what that can do is it can make somebody feel like they prefer to be alone because they don't really relate to those around them that much. Or maybe a lot of people, there might be some people that are still, you have that sense of connection with, and you know that they understand the truth about life as you see it. And so this can be a good thing in the sense that you start to really spend time in things that matter rather than trivial things. But it can be a lonely time if you feel like, that you're one of the only people that get it, so to speak. The higher message is the Nine of Wands. This is a card of boundaries. And I do feel that both Virgo, usually we associate lack of boundaries with Pisces, your opposite sign, but I think that Virgo needs this as well. Same with Libra, and you might have Libra placements for inner planets or the moon, because this is one of those things where a person who enjoys either making other people happy or making other people's lives more efficient or whatever it is that motivates you, it can lead to not having enough time to take care of yourself and to feel that you are able to do the things that you want to do. And maybe this is all part of that. If you have felt like taken advantage of in some way, I think in a lot of cases the Virgo person can look to themselves as kind of sending that message that, you were totally available at all times to help others, instead of, laying down some sort of structure for how you will help other people. And so this may come up in different ways. I mean, if you have children that have gone off to college, you might be saying, okay, now I'm devoting myself to my own self-development. And you become more possessive of your time, if you will, and things like that. And you don't want to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. So it can show up differently for each person. And maybe there's some kind of a project that you're working on that you don't want to fritter away your time with meaningless things. What crosses you is the Devil card. This is a card, you see the person that is being controlled. The strings represent the control. The Devil, I said this card is connected to Capricorn, and Saturn is the ruler of Capricorn, and Satan sounds like Saturn. I was just listening to a metaphysical teacher talk about Saturn and its properties and how it, participates in the matrix. And yes, this idea of sucking you back into the matrix when you're trying to get out of it. So what does Saturn represent? Well, duty, responsibilities, tradition. So if you are kind of stepping out of that paradigm, you may find that there are entities that try to suck you back in. And that's why I say usually this is going to come in the form of other people who, say, why are you doing that? Why did you just quit your job? Why did you just take a sabbatical? Aren't you afraid of da 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 da? And you may have, because you're an earth sign, Virgo. So even you may still have fears about, I'm not making any money right now. If you're like going on retreat or something like that, what am I going to do? And yet you need to have, it's almost like having boundaries with yourself, the Nine of Wands, where you say to yourself, you know what? I'm not concerned about this whatsoever. Everything's going to work itself out. Whatever it is that you say to yourself to kind of keep you from being fear-based and still being programmed to do things the way you've always done. So yeah, it's very interesting how that can happen. Plus just the pull of materialism, the illusion of security that comes with that. What's coming in is a Five of Cups. Very interesting card to get in this reading. This is a card of grieving the loss of something. So what I would say, if I was to look at those first two cards that I picked, the High Priestess and the Hermit card, if there is some kind of a spiritual upgrade, a change in your life, Virgo, you could be grieving the loss of that old way of life that really, in a lot of ways, was quite safe. I mean, even I, at the time of the shutdown, I remember there being multiple times where I said, I wish we could just go back to how it was. And I kept hearing spiritual teachers say, it'll never go back to how it was. And I remember that felt sad. But of course, when I analyzed, I said, well, you know what? That was not a good thing. How we lived was not a good thing, but it was familiar. There might have been good elements, but I mean, overall, we did need a change. And yet we do have to grieve the loss of the way that things used to be, even if this is going to be so much better. You may have had, there might be some kind of major event in your life that caused this to happen. I'm trying to think astrologically what that might have been for you. I don't know. I really can't say specifically. unless, you know, just as anyone else, you did have a solar eclipse in the eighth house, and that can be the house of death. So if you had any kind of, even though it was like a new moon that was very powerful, I feel like the eclipses can act like, you know, taking things away, even the solar eclipses perhaps change, you know, just shifting that. If there was a death in your life that really affected you in the last few months, then that may have set off with the hermit. You may have caused you to want to retreat into yourself more. So maybe you still are in that grieving process. The outcome is the Hangman. This is a card that ultimately, I think for this reading, I would say let go and let God. You, meaning that there may not be anything you can do yourself to make something happen in the outer world. There may not be some kind of magic bullet. It might be something that you have to just allow to happen. And perhaps this is a period of inner work rather than outer manifestations necessarily. So, a very introspective reading, Virgo, I would say. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a private reading, I'm primarily an astrologer. So I have like a double astrological reading analysis plus transits for a special price as a package deal called my deep dive. And I have one with the tarot called the whole enchilada. I'm a moon in Virgo, so for what that's worth. But anyway, I also have standalone readings. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RainaMoonAstrology.com. Thank you for watching. Bye.